Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? Today we are going to be talking about the Ronda Rousey Gina Carano MVP event that is happening on Netflix. Another fight was just added not too long ago to this, but I want to go over the matchups that they have right now and kind of talk about them a little bit. Um, is this going to be a real threat to the UFC at all? I don't I don't think it will be as big of a threat as people think it's going to be, but it is on Netflix, and that is a pretty big platform, to be completely honest with you, and people will tune into it. Um, I think it's good competition. Definitely. I think this is definitely a step in the right direction as far as competition goes against the UFC, because PFL has been stumbling over themselves constantly and consistently. I mean, it's crazy how much was brought up on the PFL to like, hey, we're gonna start really trying to compete with the UFC and stuff like that, and it just never really happened. I mean, the UFC roster is just way too deep and there's just way too many fighters in the UFC for there to be any real meaningful competition. But something like this, where you can get some big stars of the yesteryear all together on a card like this and fight, that's pretty good. I mean, I know the UFC might regret not signing Nate Diaz now, because he got announced on this fight card not too long ago against Mike Perry, and I think Mike Perry's probably going to clean his clock. To be honest with you, Mike Perry is still very much in his fighting prime still. Maybe not top high level UFC level, but like fighting wise, but the bare knuckle boxing and stuff like that, man, I think he's gonna destroy Nate Diaz. Unless Nate Diaz, I don't know, takes it to the ground and really surprises us, but I don't know. I think Mike Perry knocks out Nate Diaz in like round one or round two, to be completely honest with you. Mike Perry is not a guy you want to get hit by, especially he's fighting in MMA again. So should be pretty cool. Maybe we see some kicks out of Mike Perry that we haven't seen in a while, or something cool and explosive. But Nate Diaz and Mike Perry being added on this card, what a great feature fight essentially, and it's 5 rounds too, which is great. I think your feature fight, co-main and main, should be 5 rounds. But honestly, I think if you are fighting for any sort of contendership spots in the top 15, you should be fighting 5 rounds, honestly. So I think it's really cool that Nate Diaz and Mike Perry are going 5 rounds. I don't think it will go all 5 rounds, obviously. Like I said before, I think Mike Perry's going to clean Nate Diaz's clock. I'm interested to see how the paydays are going to be for Mike Perry and Nate Diaz, though. I wonder what they're going to say about it. Of course, here we're going to be talking about our co-main event, Francis Ngannou versus Felipe Lins. Now, I gotta be honest, I do not know much about Felipe Lins, but if he didn't make it into the UFC, I gotta be honest, your skill level, I'm not really. We saw what happened to Renan Ferreira. I mean, he just got ran over by Francis, and I think something similar will happen to this. Maybe we see a similar Francis Ngannou knockout. I know people will be tuning into this. People will definitely be tuning into Mike Perry, Nate Diaz, and Francis Ngannou, Philip Lins. There's a lot of fans that are saying, "Oh, I'm not tuning into to Ronda Rousey and Gina Carano." Well, you have these two really, really great fights, like on this card right here. I mean, the UFC wouldn't have loved to have Nate Diaz, I imagine. Maybe they don't. Maybe that's why they didn't sign him, because they don't give a fuck about the past stars at all. They're willing to go, hey, Netflix, yeah, you can take our fucking old stars. Good luck with that. I think these are gonna, especially these two fights. I think Ngannou Philippe Lins will serve its purpose of Francis Ngannou, kind of leading the sheep to slaughter a little bit for this Felipe Lins guy or whatever. Just I think he's gonna absolutely batter him. And then Nate Diaz and Mike Perry. I mean, the Diaz Bros have they bring a big fan base with them. So there's going to be a lot of people wanting to just see Nate Diaz and Mike Perry specifically on this card. So I think this was like a really great matchup to add on to this card. I'm curious on what else they're going to add on to this card if they can, you know we're kind of running low on options now. I mean, it's just going to be 3 fights. Is that what we're going to be doing? People are saying that this is going to be like, I think this is real good competition for the UFC, but at the end of the day, we only have 3 fights on this card, and it's on May 16th. So, we see there's still time to add fights and stuff. Don't get me wrong, but it is getting very narrow on who to add next. I mean, I have no idea. There were some rumors that apparently they wanted Mirko Krokop to come out of retirement and fight Francis Ngannou, which is crazy that they're that desperate looking for people to fight. Who knows though? Maybe they can snag another. I can't think of another name honestly. Um, I know I saw something. Anderson Silva doesn't want to fight MMA anymore, so I was thinking maybe they snag an Anderson Silva versus somebody kind of match. Um, who knows? Maybe they get a BKFC guy or something like that to get in here. I don't know. There's a lot of possibilities for MVP as far as for the MMA route goes. But what sucks about this event too is you might get someone like Mike Perry to return, maybe Nate Diaz to return, Francis Ngannou may return, this guy Felipe Lins might return, but you aren't going to get Ronda Rousey, Gina Carano returning again, and this is the main event. I think this is their one and done fight. Honestly, just thinking about it more and more, it is crazy Ronda Rousey is coming back after all this time. But yeah, I don't like this sentiment of people being like, "Oh, I'm not gonna watch it. It's not gonna be entertaining." It doesn't have to be entertaining, and it doesn't have to be a big thing of like, "Oh, this is the top highest level women's MMA fight." It's obviously not gonna be, but it will be a spectacle, and I am interested to see how it goes down. Like, let's not pretend here like we're not all interested to see how it goes down, and that we won't be watching. Um, Unless this is going on the same time as a big MMA UFC event, which I don't think there is. Oh, you know what? Arnold Allen, Mikael Acosta. I think. Oh, they picked a pretty good date to compete with the UFC. 328 is May 9th, so yeah, they don't want to compete with Khamzat Sean Strickland. This is probably your best bet. Ooh, but it's Arnold Allen, my boy, it's my boy Arnold Allen. So I don't know, man. I think if Arnold Allen is on at the same time as Ronda Rousey, Gina Carano, I'll definitely be putting up Arnold Allen versus Mixel Acosta, because that fight will definitely be a lot more entertaining than Ronda Rousey, Gina Carano. Or who knows? Maybe I'm proven wrong. I'd like to be proven wrong about this. All I know is that the UFC needs this. The UFC needs competition. They need former stars like Ronda Rousey and other people saying, hey, the pay over in the UFC sucks. Over here, it's great. We need competition like this. That way, this can help advance these fighters' careers and get them paid properly, like they should be. The thing is too is that on the other coin of that too, like, we want them to fight regularly. But if they're fighting once or twice a year, Aljamain Sterling was saying, if I got paid more, I'd want to fight more. I don't know if other guys would take the same mentality. That's just the thing. I think if they got paid more, they would be incentivized to fight less, at least for some of them. Maybe some of them want to, they want to make more and they want to get out there more. That could be it, but I don't know. We'll see. I bet if anything, Mike Perry's probably going to make like a nice little 2 million, 5 million or something like that. Nate Diaz, they'll probably give him like 5 million too. They'll probably give Francis like 10 million. They'll probably give the Felipe Lins guy like 500,000 or like a million maybe. Maybe they'll pay him really good. Who knows? I know Ronda Rousey, Gina Carano, most of these two women are going to making a lot of the purse. Ronda Rousey definitely will get more than Gina Carano, because a lot of people that are new to MMA too as well don't know who the fuck Gina Carano is. They know who Ronda Rousey is because she's had the advantage of being in the UFC, but Gina Carano was never in the UFC. So I think this main event fight is going to be showing a little bit levels, a little bit levels. I think Ronda Rousey just gets the signature head and arm, throws her down, gets a submission and it's over. I think that's how it's gonna go down. I don't think I guess I gotta rewatch some Gina Carano fights to see how good she was because I don't know if she never went to the UFC and had an early career in the regional scene. Like I don't know, I don't know. I'm not too excited for that. To be completely honest for you, but still interested in this main event. But the co-main and the feature fight. Now these are definitely going to be must tune in kind of fights, especially the Mike Perry fight versus Nate Diaz. I know a lot of people will be watching for that. Um, some people are probably going to be commenting. I'm only going to watch for Nate Diaz and Mike Perry specifically. So it should be interesting. I just kind of wanted to talk about the matchups on this card real quick. I don't think like it is good that they are doing it on the 16th against kind of a little bit of a weaker card. This is definitely going to incentivize people to go over to Netflix and watch this. And I like that. Netflix and Paramount, maybe they can have a little bit of a sparring back and forth a little bit. And MVP, I would like MVP to dwell a little bit more in MMA. The problem is that they're going to only be able to do like, maybe they'll only do like one or two shows a year of MMA. Like we'll see. I mean, you have to sign a lot of people, and unfortunately, there aren't a lot of people outside the UFC. But who knows? Maybe they get a couple guys who are coming off their contract, and they see that MVP is offering them a lot more. That would be pretty interesting. But the thing is that unfortunately, with a lot of MMA fighters, they're not really too well known, so it would be tough to incentivize, hey, we're going to pay you more and not get, I don't know, maybe Netflix is truly the bigger platform. They will be able to get more money, but I'm interested in this May 16th. Hopefully they add like some more matchups that are just kind of wacky out of nowhere, makes this card a little bit more interesting, but so far it's already a pretty good draw. Adding Nate Diaz and Mike Perry on there is a great way to bring in a lot more people on this card. I mean, Francis Ngannou, Felipe Lins, pretty good. We kind of already know what's going to happen with that. The Mike Perry versus Nate Diaz fight, there's going to be a little bit more intrigue, but I think there's going to be a lot of fans that are going to be like, Nate Diaz gets this done. But Mike Perry, I think, just cleans Nate Diaz's clock again, like I said before. And they're going to be advertising this. I wanted to show this too because I thought this was funny. The real BMFs. I think that's Loki kind of, especially with how the last BMF fight went. That's good. That's good marketing right there. I really think it is. But anyways, that is the video. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it and have a great day. Bye.